Welcome, friends. Let us together rebuild this world so that we may live, laugh, and lore.
I was going into Toshi Station to pick up some power converters.
I can bring you in warm, or I can bring you in cold.
Not listening. I'm not listening.
Oh, that took.
Program loaded and ready.
Make it so.
Welcome to the
Live, Laugh, Lore podcast.
We're your hosts. I'm Tony.
And I'm Mark.
And today we have one really amazing news and a great episode for you. So, Mark, Let's just get on to the amazing news.
Yep.
We had our baby.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jenna had our baby. So
Correct.
Yeah.
You were just
I
present.
was very present. I was very present for that. No, I'm so unbelievably proud of Jenna. It was an absolute whirlwind. You know, it was ended up being like a 46, 47 hour from induction to laboring to delivery, ending with a C-section. So it was definitely a lot of twists and turns. But man, we're here. So it's Peter. And for the Live, Laugh, Lore, we're going to have some Mossing lore right now.
Yep.
So, a couple things. One, his name is Peter John Mossing. So, number one, Peter, that just comes from two things. One is my confirmation saint is Peter. So, I'm Anthony John Peter Mossing. So, I was like, oh, that'd be kind of cool. You know, Anthony, John Mossing, or Anthony John Peter Mossing to Peter John Mossing. It's, right there.
Yep.
And he's also the first of our ancestors to come over from Germany to United States, more importantly to Ohio.
Correct. Yeah.
Wow.
In 1876, the first that Peter came over. Technically, his brother Jacob came over a year prior.
Yeah, it's semantics, but yeah.
But in 1876, Peter and two sisters, Magdalena and Maria, came over.
Isn't that
And
crazy?
their families, yeah. So
we've been Ohio boys since day one.
since day one, yeah.
Yeah. Our first. That's insane that we've kept it up, and we just propagated it. You know what I mean? We just propagated it out. We've got another Ohio boy in the mix.
So, and his name's Peter, which means he's going to usher in a new era for the Mossing family.
Exactly. I always kept telling people, because my family, actually, most of all of us, my immediate family, all of us who have kids have boys. So I always joke around like, dude, we're not a Mossing tree, or our Mossing family is not a family tree; it's a family trunk.
Yes, yeah.
Right down the line, baby.
Oh, yeah.
Peter's going to issue it in. But so that was a big one. And then also John. So my dad's name is John. My middle name's John. His uncle's name on Jenna's side, or Jenna's brother, his uncle is John too. So just John's everywhere. It's a big family name. So I was really excited to bring that kind of family lore into a name and how long it took. I kept telling people we're going to have a P name. And they're like, oh, man, what's it going to be? And very few people said Peter, but I always joke around because I wasn't going to tell people before. I always kept telling them, I was like, oh, it's going to be Plagueis or, Porthos or, Palpatine. So I kept doing all the classic lore P names that I was kind of think of. Or Glorfindel. I always thought that was kind of a cool elf name. But, yeah, no, ended up not going that. But, no, super unbelievably proud of Jenna. That was a huge, long process, but we're here. And with that being said, too, I am on, day 5 of being a dad.
Yeah.
So we are sneaking this episode in.
Oh, yeah.
I'm very excited. I actually wrote these notes while in the hospital, waiting for, just in between. And actually, it's funny enough, my notes actually stopped because what ended up happening was Jen ended up having a little bit of a high blood pressure. They're like, hey, just go to the hospital. They're going to check you out. Probably not a big deal. We go to the hospital to check her out. Blood pressure's all fine. So then, but while we're waiting for all these tests to go, it's like 2 hours. So I'm like telling Mark, I'm like, oh, hey, we want to do this topic this time. Let me write some notes. So I'm writing it all on my phone. And literally, I just now look at my notes. I got about 98% done. The last 2%, I literally have a sentence. And at that moment, they told us that we're getting induced and we're going to have a baby. And I didn't finish my notes.
Yeah.
So I'll fill it in from there. It'll be fine. But I thought that was funny. But now let's actually transition to the episode. So, Mark, we got this from a user way back probably at this point, a couple weeks ago. So Connor was a great friend, in high school, great guy. He also went through and said, hey, it'd be really cool if you guys start looking into some of these clone troopers. There's so much going on. These are the clone wars. There's skirmishes, there's battles, there's everything. And you kind of see it from the different shows because, they have different color on their armor. What does that mean? They have different insignias. It's just like our military. There's ranks, there's squadrons, there's divisions. There's these battalions. So there's so much into this. And he was kind of saying, hey, how about you just kind of dip your toes in and kind of figure out what really interests in you, take some of those legions out and start talking about some of the notable battles, maybe some notable people from them.
Yep.
And I think it's going to be pretty darn exciting because, like I said, I'm super excited. I was doing these notes all the way up until the induction. So this is,
yeah.
I'm very, very excited about this topic. Thank you, Connor, once again for suggesting this. And as always, please, we absolutely love these suggestions. So please bring them in. It'd be fantastic. But Mark, I've been talking a lot. Totally apologize. I want to get that Mossing lore and introduce it, but I'm going to hand it off to you. So
Absolutely.
What's going on?
Real quick, one last note on the Mossing lore. No word yet on Paul, my brother, because he always wanted to use the name Peter, but now he can't.
Oh.
So no word on how he's taking it. But
yeah.
we
We always joked around and said it was a race. And I was
Yeah.
like, and literally I was, we joked about that while we were in the hospital because you were kind of
Yeah.
there for a really long time. And, you know, the intentions are a little bit high, so you kind of have to hit, you know, a few jokes in here and there, and or just try to be calming presence. But I was joking around. I was like, unless Paul comes out of the woodworks,
Yeah.
I think
It's
we're going to be pretty good.
Pretty solid.
Paul, Paul's time is
Yeah, yeah.
literally taken by the hour. So, sorry, Paul. You know, this was always something that Jen and I, actually, one of our first dates, we were one of those couple, or we were, you know,
Oh, yeah.
we were friends first, and then we started dating, and then we're like, hey, you know, how many kids do you want? What kind of kids? And then Peter was one of the first names that I said I really liked. And she was like, oh my gosh, I thought the same thing. So this has been a prolonged
to be.
name.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's just, suck it, Paul. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
That's what I'm at the end of the day, that's what I'm trying to
Yeah.
say. So, no, Paul, we love you. Sorry about that.
All right, back to the actual content of the episode. So thanks to your buddy. We briefly mentioned this in our mailbag episode. We
Yep.
talked about L3 Nation inputs, and so this is the first one that we're doing. So this should be proof that we are reading and we are going
Proof in the
to.
pudding, yeah.
You just have to give us some time, but we will explore
Yeah.
your inputs.
And I think what we're going to do is do every 5-episode cycle, we're going to have one input episode, as long as we have them. So
Correct.
as long as you got a few inputs, we're going to keep going. So I think we already have our next 2 or 3 segments planned out. So
Yep.
that doesn't mean, hey, don't move, don't give us inputs. Please definitely keep giving us inputs. We'd love
Correct.
to hear them. So
Yep.
yeah, thanks, Mark, for bringing that up too. That's
Yeah.
great. Yeah, we're going to kind of get in a tempo here. I think this new year is new year for the Live Laugh Lore pod to start restructuring, where
Absolutely.
have these new beginning episodes, these fan input episodes, and then keep rocking and rolling.
Yep. So, the Clone Army, Tony.
Yep.
I've got a little
Sifo-Dyas ordered allegedly.
allegedly.
I'm no court of law, but
But like you said, it's broken down into many levels, like our military.
huge.
It's not the same levels, right? So I've got that here.
That'd
so
be
I'm
wild.
So I'm gonna set the stage and break it down for us.
I'm
okay?
ready.
So the Grand Army of the Republic, led
Mm-hmm.
by the Supreme Chancellor Sheev Palpatine. So I'm not going to list the number of troops for all of them, but just to get your reference.
I like how you added that in too, because this is after the vote of no confidence, where he
Correct.
does give himself control. Because originally it wasn't his. You know what I
Correct.
mean? Yeah.
But it's about almost 3.4 million troopers strong. That's how many clones are in the
And
army.
this is pure clones, right? Only Kaminoan, like meaning this
Correct.
is not like supplemented by Jedi.
Correct.
Okay.
Clone troopers. That's the
Wow.
amount of So the Grand Army is broken first level into 10 system armies, and those are all led by high Jedi generals.
Great.
Likely on the council. We only know of three.
Anakin and then Ahsoka Tano?
So they're not high. We're gonna get to them.
Okay.
So high Jedi generals, those ones who command the system armies. The two named are Obi-Wan Kenobi and Mace Windu.
Okay. All right.
Likely some others on the council were high Jedi generals. They just weren't named. Yoda, technically, however, he is like the top general, and therefore he's not per se
All but name kind of deal.
Well, yeah. So he goes into battle on we only see him on special occasions, but he's
Yeah.
not fighting the day-to-day battle.
No,
you know what I mean?
No, yeah.
So
Well, because he's still in charge of the order. I mean,
correct.
he still has obligations, right?
Yes.
I mean, it's very important for wartime to also maintain, the infrastructure of what makes that army, or Jedi Order for this case. But yeah,
correct. So each system army then is broken into 2 sector armies,
okay.
and they are led only by high-ranking individuals, such as lower, like freshmen on the Jedi Council.
Nice, yeah.
Essentially, right?
Yeah.
None are named, but it's it's the background characters that nobody knows their names, but they're on the council.
Yaddle was in there. Yeah.
Well, Yaddle died right before
Oh,
so she never got to
no.
command any.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
She did. That was before Dooku changed to Lord Tyrannus.
Correct,
Good call,
correct.
Good call. Dang, I was so excited because she would be a good one.
Yeah. So sector armies are broken into 4 corps.
Okay. So we have Galactic, or no, what was that first? No, System.
Yeah, Grand Army of the Republic into the System armies. Yep.
System, and then
Sector, and then
okay.
Corps. And they are led by Jedi generals such as Anakin Skywalker.
Sweet.
And other Jedi Knights.
Nice.
And also a clone Marshal Commander, known as Commandos, but Marshal Commander is above Commander, which I'll... Commander Cody is a Marshal Commander.
I was about to say, I have a few of them in here.
Yes, yeah. Under that, you have Legions. So each corps is made up of 4 legions. The rest are 4, 4, and 4 numbers, which is nice. And they are led by a Jedi General or Clone Commander.
Yep.
Then you have... Each legion has made up of 4 regiments, led by a Jedi Commander. So those are Jedi Padawans like Ahsoka Tano.
Great, yep.
And Caleb Doom, which we'll get to. Then they are consistent. Each regiment is 4 battalions, led by troopers, usually a clone commander. Each battalion is made up of 4 companies, led by a clone captain, like Captain Rex.
Yep.
And then each company is 4 platoons, which is led by a clone lieutenant. And then each platoon is made up of 4 squads, which is 10 troopers, including the clone sergeant commander.
I'm shocked they thought all of this out all the way down to...
Yeah, right?
That's nice.
Wikipedia, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then you have brigades, which are essentially special armies. Unspecified numbers of troops could be led by Jedi or another clone trooper.
So
but
Clone Force 99, is that... So they're kind of off the books, but are they on the books as a brigade?
No. So they're their own
weird.
squad because they're not big enough. So it's brigade, even though they're special missions, they're somewhere in between a battalion and a regiment.
Oh, higher. Okay.
Because they're made up of multiple battalions.
Oh,
but they're used for special ops.
Yep.
So then you get that.
Cool.
So with that, real quick, the ranks we briefly mentioned. You have the high generals, high Jedi generals, regular Jedi generals, Jedi Commander, which is your Padawans.
Yep.
Then for clone ranks, you have the clone Marshal Commander,
Cody,
clone Commander, regular, clone Major, clone Captain, Rex, clone Lieutenant, clone Sergeant, clone Corporal, clone Private, and then clone Cadet are the ones that are still in Camino in training.
Gotcha. So they really don't have like it's almost like they don't really they have like the commandos, but there's no like OCS almost like what we have, like where there's enlisted versus officer. They kind of
right. Yeah,
it's more or less it's like a standard linear scale, but once you hit that point in the linear scale, then you start deeming like the SIRS and everything like that.
Right. So
that's awesome.
But with 3.4 million troops, Tony, there are plenty of squads, legions, regiments that we could dive into. But I think we both took about 4 to look into. So we only have 8. But
there's
like
too much.
There's plenty. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So which 4, you can go ahead, and which 4 did you choose to investigate?
Absolutely. And honestly, hey, if you guys come up or we don't reach one of your 4s, bring it up in the comments. That'd be absolutely fantastic to hear about, which ones you guys were thinking. This first one holds a special place in my heart because it was one of the very first action figures that drew me in as a kid, where I was like, I have to get this action figure. And it really spawned out of, if I'm giving more in depth. So let me just say what they are. Sorry, I went nostalgic, but let me first say it. So they're the 41st Elite Corps. So that's with Commander Gree. So Commander Gree is most notably, you see him turn on his comm badge. Sidious is on there. It says Execute Order 66. He then turns back, points to his boys, and was like, we're going to get Yoda. And Yoda eliminates Commander Gree and the other 2 clone troopers there.
Yes.
So technically, as far as everyone's concerned, he's the first casualty of Execute Order 66. Yeah. But the reason why I loved him so much is they were like this elite regiment where there's all these different ones. My personal favorite was just the whole, like they had like this recon snipers. So they're in the camo. But if you guys remember Commander Gree, it's Gree, but they wear all green. So it's kind of a little easy to remember. But it was just so great because I absolutely their green visor, because they're the first ones you see with a different color visor, right? A lot of them have the black visor with different colors, but this was the first time you see an actual green full visor. They are head to toe in like ghillie suits, and I remember playing Kashyyyk on Battlefront 2, and I think they're all standard. You didn't get skins on them, right? In the old version, but in the new version of Battlefront, they're one of the skins you can get. Okay. And so the second I unlock that, like to this day, those are the skins that I use on all my clones. Is the 41st. Yeah. I love it. Don't get me wrong. The Oh my gosh, why am I forgetting them? The blue Commander Rex, all of them. What were they?
With Anakin?
Yeah,
501st
501st. 501st. I was thinking 201. I don't know why, but so that's my brain, dude. Oh, okay, that's another thing too. I'm rocking and rolling on different rounds of 2-hour sleeps right now. But yeah, so the 501st, I absolutely love the blue. Don't get me wrong, but honestly, my other top favorite is the 41st Elite Corps.
Yeah.
Now, I will say, so let me stop talking about how cool they look and my nostalgia of them, but let me actually talk about you. So their commander is Commander Gree. Mm-hmm. That was the highest clone on their side. Now that you broke it down, it's his commander, so I mean, he's up there. Mm-hmm. And then Yoda and Luminara were taking care of this battalion.
Yeah.
Or Legion, sorry, I should call them Legion. But yeah, so the Camos, Scouts was fantastic, but the notable battles that they had is, so they had a second battle of Geonosis.
Yep.
Where this guy was basically coming in. His name was called Poggle the Lesser. I don't know why I really like that name. And the fact that they call him the Lesser makes it even funnier.
Is that the guy who clicks?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
So basically, he was kind of being rambunctious and saw that, whoa, we kind of started this whole, clone droid and Attack of the Clones. This was like the first step. And you see that in the movie. Mm-hmm. But then you see the battle progress. And the heat comes off Geonosis. And that's where Poggle the Lesser was like, whoa, okay, they think they destroyed us. Let's get our own sect rebuilding. And let's start building up into the Trade Federation, help them supply with these droids that we can already have. And they came in and basically took them out, which is pretty big because that they just didn't want another resurgence. So there's actually a second battle of Geonosis. It's kind of funny, like whoa, like second, but we saw the first one during Attack of the Clones.
Yeah.
Second one is at Rhodia, and this is with Newt Gunray. So Newt Gunray, he was Phantom Menace, the Trade Federation guy. He's
Viceroy.
Viceroy. Yeah, exactly. Viceroy Newt Gunray.
Taylor and I just watched Phantom Menace over the weekend.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. Okay.
She looked at me. She goes, I just have a urge to watch and listen to the Duel of the Fates. And I looked at her. I'm like,
done.
Turn it on.
Yeah.
What are we waiting for? Yeah.
Hey, you know what? So I don't like stupid questions. Let's ride. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Dude, oh man, that's kind of like when we were out of Wi-Fi and Jenna started watching Lord of the Rings. I was like, what is going on?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But no, the ladies of the lore. What can you do?
Yeah.
We're infectious. Our passion.
True.
It's infectious. Yeah. But also I remember as a kid that was the first time like seeing like full visual effects like that. You know what I'm talking about? Like where his basically his mask was moving with him, and I was like, "Whoa!" Like you did the same thing to pucker lips. Yeah.
It wasn't accurate lip movement, but it was something. Yeah.
Bring out the droidicas.
Yeah.
Droidicas. Yeah. He did have a little bit more of a flair when he was saying stuff. And then the other notable one was Kashyyyk, which we kind of already talked about, right? That's the one where you see in Revenge of the Sith. And that's where, that's when you first see Execute Order 66 occur in the movie timelines. And you see basically the fallout from that, where Yoda then goes with the Wookiees and then they go help them ship back to Coruscant and everything like that. So 41st Elite Corps is actually pretty high on my list. So Mark, I think let's just keep ping-ponging if that's all right. Or I can keep going. I mean,
no, I like that. We'll ping-pong. So the first one I have is the Galactic Marines, the 21st Nova Corps.
Okay, sweet. I like them.
Part of the 4th Sector Army.
Okay.
Under the leadership of General Coyote-Mundi.
My
boy.
I will say, I read this notes, and I was got to put them in, and then I remembered, I'm like, oh, wait, no. They're the ones who killed him in Megiddo?
Yeah.
Magneto? Whatever it's called?
We'll get there, Tony.
Oh, I'm sorry. But I saw that, and I was like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
He's my boy.
Yeah.
I love him too much.
So, yeah, it's led by Coyote-Mundi, who we've talked about this before, but he's got a special clearance from the Jedi Council because his race is dying to marry and reproduce.
Yeah. So he has technically one wife, but then he has 6 honor wives, so 7 total.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's still producing girls, and he has 1 son right now.
Yeah.
Which is like unreal. Like the fact that I think he has 13 daughters and 1 son. It's something crazy. But no, he is married and that's why you see him in by the way, that's the reason why you see him in a hologram. It's not like he's fighting somewhere else.
Because he's at
his
home
home planet.
Yeah, dealing with all his children.
Yeah, which is like hilarious to think about. But yeah.
So him and Marshal Commander Bakara are the ones who lead the Nova Corps. So these Marines, much like our Marines, are trained to operate in hostile environments such as fungal clouds and pure vacuum environments. So they're going into the worst of the worst planets, getting
Sweet
stuff
helmets, though.
done.
Yeah.
Yeah. They have blaster rifles, specialized armor. So the helmet incorporates a specialized covering designed to filter pollutants and other hazards, which includes a special Sith mesh material for filtration of poisonous gases.
Ooh.
It's like a deep maroon, almost purple color. You'd recognize them. They're one of the options in Battlefront.
Absolutely.
It's
They're the best.
yeah. It's they've got that special gun. That
It's the
blasts.
machine. Yeah, it's like the turret, right? Mm-hmm. Or it's like the.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Super inaccurate, but like you just put so many bullets out.
Correct. After the fall of the Republic, that the Nova Corps evolved into what we know as the Snow Troopers.
No way.
So
Are
they
Hoth boys.
The Hoth, yeah, they evolve into that regiment,
Which makes sense. I mean,
Yeah.
it's hostile. I
Yeah.
mean, they're just gonna go.
I mean,
right
if you
back.
look at their armor, they're pretty similar, except the Snow Troopers are all white.
Yeah.
So it
God,
makes
that's
sense.
sick.
So some battles that they saw, they were part of the Outer Rim sieges. So they focused their time there.
Yeah, like the outskirts of the war, which makes sense. I mean,
So they were on 2 Outer Rim planets, Ordo Plutonia and Renvar. Not much is known about what happened there. All we know, they were successful missions, and they were there.
nice.
But their biggest one was the planet of Magito, or Magito,
Yeah,
however you
I don't
see
know how
it.
to say. Yeah.
But they were there for 3 years, nonstop fighting. And it
Jeez, I didn't know that.
It was a separatist stronghold, and they went back and forth on who.
Just war
Yeah.
of attrition.
Yep.
Okay.
On the fourth battle of Megiddo, Coyote Mundi is personally leading a infantry squad into the heart of the separatist command post. Mm-hmm. Things look to be going well, and then they get Bakara gets the order to execute Order 66.
That context actually makes me hate them even more. Can you imagine 3 years? And you, by the way, you see in that scene, he's like, come on. He's so excited. Like, he's literally at the brink of victory.
Right.
And
Yeah, and he turned and his.
that's so much worse.
And it is so much worse because these commanders and the Jedi became so close, and they're almost like best friends.
Oh, for sure.
And Bakara he can't stop himself, but he orders the troops.
He has to.
And you see in the movie he defends for a little bit, but there's just too many.
Yeah.
And he gets gunned down.
Well, because he's also
by his troop.
What I'm assuming is the stronghold. I mean, like the heart of it, because you literally see him. He's on a bridge.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
and there's
right-
nowhere to go.
Yeah, he
I
can't.
mean,
Yeah.
because the droids are coming one way, the clone troopers are going the other, and he's just taking bullets from everywhere. Mm-hmm. Oh, that makes that so much worse.
Yeah. But super cool. I
Yeah,
love
that's
Coyote
super
Mundi.
cool. I'll give it to
They
him.
look cool. Not
I
that
like
he
him.
dies, but
Yeah,
they look
yeah,
so
yeah,
cool. Yeah.
They do look cool. I think that was definitely like it's kind of one of those funny things. Like someone's like, hey, think of a taco. And some people think of a soft taco. Some people think of a hard taco. But someone's like, hey, think of a clone trooper. Like in your head, like what's your first go? And honestly, like the 501st is a very classic. But my first go is probably the 41st or the Nova.
Yeah.
Which I don't know why. I think they're just so unique. But also, do you have more notes on them? Because I was going to ask, like, I'm wondering, like, in Hoth, like, they had specific orders, like, dude, Wampas, like, just don't even, because you know what I'm talking about during the Wampa. But that's like Wampas versus Rebels. It's never Wampa versus Empire.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know why maybe it's just a game choice, you know what I mean, for them. But
Right. They were just.
Or for people who don't know, sorry, this is talking about Battlefront 2. Mm-hmm. There is, you can, during not Galactic Conquest, but during these instant masters that you can just make yourself, you can choose your different maps, and one of them is Hoth. And then if you're on Hoth, you can choose to do basically a hero. Is that called a hero fight, or is that
Hunt.
assault?
It's the hunt.
Hunt. So if you do hunt, then what ends up happening is you're the rebel. You can choose to be a rebel, or you can choose to be a Wampa. And you just duke it out. And Wampas are pretty strong. They're a lot of fun to play. But that's where I was kind of curious. They don't have an Empire version, which would
not on Hoth, but I guess the Empire. It's the Empire versus the Ewoks. Is the
that's the other fun hunt. Yeah. Ewoks are so much fun. You throw sticks and stones, but you're against like blasters and snipers. Their balance is horrible, but it's so much fun. Yeah. But no, that's a really cool to think about, and the fact that this is the one troop that they actually show a clear transition on. It's actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
Because I did not find that in any of my troops. Like, there's no other transition.
Same. None of mine, but that's, yeah.
Cool that they got notarized by that. So my next one is called Hope. And I was like, aw, what a good, what a nice note. But it literally stands for High Orbital Precision Entry Squadron, which is like, oh yeah, that's pretty sick. So the Hope Squadron is basically they launch out on a single man escape pod. So they're on these like Ventnor class, starships. They basically have a whole squad of them. They put them in these capsules and just launch them at, in high orbit. And then basically once they reach kind of the precipice of right when they're about to break the atmosphere, that, canister that they're in basically breaks apart. And then they come down on what they literally call to be umbrellas, right? Then they descend in umbrellas, which is basically like they're paratroopers, right? Yeah. Which makes them super fun. This was on a comic book, actually. Like, this wasn't known on any, big screen or anything like that. These were all from comic books. And so some big notable people to have was basically on Yarn Scat. They were kind of tasked with kind of like the Marines. Like, they're kind of known for like, hey, we can't bring in any ground units. You have no aerial assault. We need to literally get you in at a really interesting attack location that they're not going to have, a lot of defenses for. You need to get in, do your job, and then get the heck out of Dodge. And then we'll evac you kind of deal. And so Yarscat is where they're at. Sorry, I should explain that a little bit better. So Yarscat is where they're at. And their whole goal is to save this master tree tower. So when I was reading that, I was like, Ent? I don't know. I had the tree beard. I don't know. Right? The tree tower. But he is a Jedi Master, tree tower. And so basically they come in and once again, the Hope Squadron doesn't have a lot of hope, sadly, because a lot of them actually perish because it's such a high-risk situation. Yeah. So what ends up happening, a lot of the droids do take out a lot, except for a sergeant and the Jedi themselves, so Master Tree Tower. Then they were able to basically go through, finish up the mission, what she was originally designed for, which is to save these Ugnaught slaves. And they're going to come in, save them, and then get the heck out of Dodge, and that's exactly what they did. But the sad part is only one member of the squadron survived out of all of them. So kind of this bittersweet where they were able to do the mission, but, at a really high cost. But that's just kind of the goal of the squadron. And just specifically, like I said, this was in a comic book, which is called The Drop, which I thought that was kind of fun. And it was from the Star Wars Clone Adventures Volume 6. So if you're curious where that is, that's exactly where you're at. So that was the Hope Squadron. Nice. A little sad. Not as sad as Ki-Adi Mundi, but, right. but sad nonetheless. Like, it's so crazy to think, like, their whole, like, their birth, training, and everything just led them to, you're going to go into the worst of the worst. We're literally going to fire you in space to enter the atmosphere. Yep. Go on these umbrellas, which are kind of funny when you look at the pictures. Yeah, they are. They're literally umbrellas, and it's like, what? You know what I mean? And then just eventually, go to unbeatable odds, and hopefully you'll be successful in the mission. So. Yeah. That was my last note for the Hope Squadron.
Okay. So mine next one is the 104th Battalion, known as the Wolf Pack.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I was looking at this one too. Yeah. Nice.
So it's led by General Plo Koon.
Nice.
Known as Wolf Leader. Mm-hmm. And Clone Commander Wolf, hence the Wolf Pack.
Yeah. Also, sorry to interrupt, but I will say, Plo Koon I wish he had a better death in Episode 3. Yeah. He was with the Wolf Squadron, and they're...
No, he wasn't. I'm going to get into it. Oh. He's not with the Wolf Squadron.
Dude, I keep jumping down. I'm so sorry. But he did. But I will say, he had the worst, so bummed. Yeah. He could have gone out cool. Okay. But sorry, yeah.
So it also included members such as Clone Sergeant Sinker, Corporal Comet, Troopers Boost, Wildfire, and Umbra.
Oh, nice.
Also, there was pilots Warthog and Corvus, so just a lot of cool names in the Wolf Pack.
Warthog.
So they're known for their maroon markings and a wolf insignia, okay? That's what they are known for. So they're in several battles. The first big one they were in was in the Brigado system. A lot of planets.
Yeah,
a lot
I was
of funky
about to
names.
say. Yeah.
So there is a heavy cruiser. They just know it's called the Malevolence from the Separatists, but it's destroying starfighters left and right, and they have no idea why. So they end up chasing it to the Abrogado system. Find it, has this giant ion laser on it, and that's why it's able to just take out Star
Oh,
fighters.
wait. This is in the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
This is an episode.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I was like, wait. I think I know. Because General Grievous is on that one.
Correct.
It's like a huge EMP. Like,
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's huge. Their comms are knocked out before they can call anybody. Long story short, they get boarded, and they all have to go into escape pods. A lot of deaths. The Wolfpack's almost wiped out. They are eventually saved by Anakin and Ahsoka.
Yep.
But Plo Koon was kind of floating in an escape pod for a while.
Yeah.
So
that was an early episode.
yeah. Because of that, because there were so many deaths, the battalion changed their colors to a flint gray in memorial for all the brothers that died.
Yep.
The next big battle was the Battle of Korm, another Outer Rim territory. They were deployed to assist Anakin, and during that battle, Commander Wolf was captured by Asajj Ventress, and she cut out his right eye and gave him a big scar across his face.
Jeez.
He later had a silver cybernetic replacement installed,
Bad.
and he was saved by the rest of the crew. But that's notable there because he got his
eye
taken out.
Yeah.
They
does make him look cool, though.
yeah. So
Wolfpack.
there's multiple battles on Felucia.
Yep.
They were involved in 2 of them. The first one was like almost right after the Battle of Korm was the next thing they went to. The Wolfpack and General Kuhn were deployed on the Star Destroyer, the Negotiator.
Nice. I do love their names.
And their mission was to break the CIS Navy's blockade on the planet. The Republic
Of Felucia.
of Felucia. The Republic forces, led by General Kenobi, Skywalker, and Commander Tano, had been overwhelmed by the droid army, so Plo Koon led a group of low-altitude assault transport infantry gunships and V-19 Torrent starfighters through the blockade to rescue Skywalker and the rest of the troops.
Is that the same dropships that they used in Geonosis?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Those are sick.
Yep. Meanwhile, Commander Wolf was up fighting a space battle, and he directed clone gunners to target the CIS star frigates to cut off their recruitment and stuff like that.
But that's insane. So this squad covers both pilots and ground troops.
Correct.
Sick.
Yep. So Commander Wolf is up there in the space battle with the pilots. And
Plo Koon's
Plo's
down.
on-
Okay, but I was just shocked that they split
Yes.
up. And
Yes.
normally, because you know what I mean? Like, normally those are different
Yeah.
squads, yeah.
It was a hard-fought battle, but long story short, it was successful. They extracted Kenobi, Skywalker, and Tano and took them back to Coruscant.
Nice.
Shortly after that, they had to return to Felucia for the second battle, and they were fighting alongside the 501st with General Skywalker, and they were going to make a night assault on one of General Grievous's outposts. Skywalker and Commander Rex led a diversion at the front gate, while Commander Tano, Comet, Sinker, and Boost were going to scale the back wall. They were going to try to attack it on all fronts, right? Plo Koon, Commander Wolf, and the rest of the team jetpacked over the sidewall to do a surprise attack. Everything went well, except this is another Clone Wars episode. Ahsoka got kidnapped, and they had to spend the whole episode finding her. But they found her, and it was a successful mission.
Yep. Is that the General Grievous, like when he had like the horrors episode? You know what I mean? Like they're just like trying to go into his house and there.
Oh, I think it was.
Is it? I don't remember. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Because I remember she getting trapped there
Correct,
at one point,
yeah.
but
Yeah.
it might be.
Then the last big battle that they are in is the Battle of Kadavo. They were another Clone Wars episode. A lot of these you're right. In a mission to rescue.
Well, because you know why, right? Dave Filoni's favorite clone regiment, or his favorite Jedi is Plo Koon.
Oh, then
So then he was
just
just
put him in there.
obsessing about the wolf pack. So
Yeah,
that was
so
his
there you
big,
go.
like that was his baby.
Yeah.
So that's why you see him a lot in the Clone Wars, because
Right.
that's literally Dave Filoni going, yeah, these guys
are
are
my-
sick.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it was a mission to rescue an enslaved Torgruta, which is the race of Shakti. They've got the dual.
Oh yeah.
They got the dual.
Yeah,
things.
it's different from
It's different from Ahsoka.
Yeah, but same. Yeah. They have the horns. I think they call them horns. but
Horns, yeah.
It's like Twi'lek, but they have the front ones and the top. I don't know. Yeah. I'm like six. Yeah.
Yeah. So General Kenobi and Captain Rex were captured when they tried to to save this enslaved Torgruda. So Anakin and Ahsoka launched a rescue operation on the planet Kadavo, where the slaves were being transferred. They needed help, though, because they weren't going to be able to do it, so they called in the Wolf Pack.
Nice.
To help them out. The Wolf Pack attempted to break through with a strike force, but were unable to because there's ray shields all around.
Like the Gungan ray shields?
Kind of like it.
You know what I'm
but
talking about?
yeah,
The shield?
same effect. Same effect. Yeah.
My favorite effect of all Star Wars.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah.
So while they were fighting on the ground, Anakin was able to destroy the ray shield, while Kenobi and Rex killed the slaver, like the head slaver, and they were able. The strike force was then able to extract Kenobi, Skywalker, Tano, Rex, and the rest of the slaves, and then destroy the slave facility.
Nice.
So, the last note I have on it, because you said you thought that the Wolfpack gunned him down.
I really did.
They were not. They were
Okay.
not the ones to do it. Plo Koon was taken off Wolfpack on a special assignment with the 442nd Siege Battalion. It's a different battalion.
So that's what
one
we
that he's not usually the leader of.
Okay.
But it was a special assignment. And the clone trooper Jag, who was his wingman, took the shot
Gunned him, yeah,
and gunned him
dang.
down. So he died knowing that it wasn't his boys. that
That's,
killed
you
him,
know what,
which
honestly,
is huge.
I'd take that. I'd
Yeah.
take that. Because honestly, like, maybe that's a deeper question. But it's like, would you rather be gunned down by your boys or like someone random? It's like, yeah, it's someone random.
Yeah.
That's, you know what I
Right.
mean? That's only one type of pain. That's just physical, not emotional. Yeah. Oh man. But yeah, I couldn't imagine that. That's what. Yeah, like I said, because you see him, he gets a shot, and then he kind of puts up his hands, and then he flies in that. But yeah, that's Dave Filoni's favorite Jedi. So it makes sense why he focused so much on him. And the other fact I actually know is that the fact that this troop is like kind of has a notorious streak with mini painters. So everyone who plays Star Wars Legion, which is like the wargaming version, you know, it's kind of like a Warhammer, right?
Yeah.
It's just a war game, right? So you have these minifigures and you do them. It's super fun. I really enjoyed it. Kind of got out of the hobby, but I'd love to get back into it. So they're very small figures. And it's like a feat that people try to do, and people have different ways, but to paint that wolf insignia on their shoulders.
Yeah.
So everyone's like, I would love to have the wolf pack, but it's so difficult. So there's literally people on Etsy who have like those Cricut cutters that make stickers from them.
Yep.
And they have to like such high fidelity, and
It's
it's kind of funny. It's like it's kind of notorious. Like people are like, because they're well represented in the show.
yeah.
So people are like naturally kind of like the 501st. Like any single kid who watches it, they're gonna go, oh, dude, one, they're blue, but two, it's like, oh, they're like when you think of a clone trooper, that's like your standard clone trooper, really.
Correct. Yep.
But if you think of like the coolest and all these different battles, is like, and you're watching the series, the Clone Wars, that's probably gonna be the Wolf Pack. So it's natural people wanting to paint them and replicate them, and it's you know, it's kind of whispered across. Some people also they basically do cut. And basically, they do a paint on top of it, so it's almost like a stick. You know what I mean, like a decal.
Yeah.
You know, it makes it a little bit easier. But
Yeah.
So, but no, keep the ball rolling. I have two more, and this is where my notes cut out.
Okay.
So I
yeah.
do apologize. But first one is called the Blue Squadron. It was kind of crazy that I figured out. I was like, oh my gosh, Blue Squadron! Like they have a name. You know, I thought it's kind of cool. I clicked on it, and I was like looking through their notable battles, and I was like, okay, they're the most important part of what they're doing is they're doing a lot of pilots. So I kind of had two. I kind of have a ground assault and like scout, which is the 41st Elite Squadron. And then I had more of a, you know, the Hope Squadron, which is kind of like atmospheric kind of deal. But now I'm talking about pure atmospheric now, which is the Blue Squadron.
Yep.
And a lot of their notable battles are those big space battles, what's going on, everything like that. But the reason why I kind of was like, oh, this is pretty interesting, and what really caught my eye was not only because it's Blue Squadron, but this is a Clone Wars episode where this is Ahsoka's first time leading a group, and so she's looking at the back. It was like one of the really most important things, like to teach, you know what I mean, and to say that basically, like, it's tough when you're in the stress and heat of everything going on, like the fog of war, because you're only looking 2 steps ahead of you. You can't see holistically what's going on in the battle, and that's where Anakin kind of teaching Ahsoka to, hey, be confident in your decisions, do what you need to do. But at the same time, too, you got to kind of take a step back from times. And this was Ahsoka's, like, learning of, oh, no, I should have taken a step back.
Yeah.
Where, like, I was confident in what I was doing, but she didn't see what was really happening, which was General Grievous was basically pinching the forces in.
Yep.
So he's kind of giving her a bait, and she took it. And that episode was kind of beautiful when you really think about it, because when you look back, and this is kind of like a kid's show, and it's the first time like a main character has actively done something wrong.
Yep.
They believe they were right, and they in their perspective they were right. But when you take a step back, look holistically, and the teacher's now looking at it, and it's not right. Now it's like, wait, no, you did do the right thing of the information that you had. But you also had to look at it and be like, what if you might not have all the information? And that's like mind-blowing for a kid. I mean, it was mind-blowing, it's mind-blowing for adults.
Right.
When you think back, you're like, oh, wow, I'm, a lot of these situations I got to take a step back on. And I think that was just a really powerful episode. And the fact that the Blue Squadron was like the vehicle for that, I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, and it's mind-blowing, too, to think Ahsoka's a kid herself, and she's leading a battalion in a war. You know what I mean? It's crazy to think.
Because she's like, still Padawan.
Yeah.
I mean, like literally, this is like Anakin. She is a very high functioning, independent woman, killing it. You know what I mean? Doing really well, right? Yeah. And basically, he sees like he's kind of bumping her up because Anakin did all that stuff. He was the prodigy. He was the wonderkin that doing all this stuff. And here's Ahsoka doing the same thing. Mm-hmm. And so it's so funny that Anakin, realizing he's been through that, has to go back and go, okay.
Yeah.
I see where your head's at, and you're doing everything right, and I taught you that way. And then that's also the other part of the episode, which I really like, which you can focus essentially on Ahsoka experiencing that, but also focusing on Anakin. Now he has to go, oh, crap, I taught you. No, this is my failure. You know what I mean? So then he's kind of taking it, and it's like, whoa, you know what I mean? There's a lot of learning and a lot of emotional intelligence here because there's high emotions going on. And the very last thing is they have the coolest ships ever. I love the Blue Squadron. They're all checked out in blue, and they're a different look to them too. They're kind of like those bombers with the long, I'm talking about like the long TL thing, but they're super cool. I really like their bombers. But yeah, so that was my squadron. That was halfway through my notes. I literally was doing notable battles, and I was just like, well, it's the episode. You guys know the episode. I'll just clip that out. But yeah, that's what I got.
Okay. Next, I've got the 327th Star Corps.
Nice.
And I'm kind of surprised you didn't take it because it's led by your girl, Ayla Sakura.
Oh, I know. Trust me, I'm not going to lie. My 4 that I have, the last one was just supposed to be a notable mention, which that was my surprise. My notable mention, I'm going to make their own lore because there is none on Wikipedia. So maybe if this becomes popular enough, I will have writing credit.
Oh, okay.
Fingers crossed. And I was able to think about it a little bit more, but I did see that Ayla Sakura one, and I was like, oh, I should have taken it, dude. I should have. But no, I'm glad you did.
Right.
Yeah. Someone's getting the respect, yeah.
So, General Sakura and Clone Marshal Bly is his name.
Dude, by the way, sorry, another thing. Second action figure that I absolutely love, Commander Gree, Commander Bly.
Yep.
I traded Commander Gree with somebody at the lunch table for like 2 rounds of pizza on Fridays because I didn't have his gun.
Yeah.
And one of my buddies had his gun, and he was like, wasn't even using it. I was like, dude,
I want it.
When you're like grade school, you're like, dude, I don't have currency. What's currency? They're like, yeah, French toast sick day. I was like, have them, brother.
Yeah.
Let me see that. And so the other one was Bly, and so he's got that super cool, like yellow, orangish. And then he's also the only one with it's basically not like a kimono. It's like that. It's called like a skirt.
It's like a kamas. It's called a kamas.
A kamas? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And he's got dual pistols. Yep. Oh, dude, I love Commander Bly. Sorry, Mark, I'm stealing your thunder, but
you're good.
Man, I love
He's
Commander
really cool.
Bly. He was my favorite action. I still have him, by the way. My mom, Alex, my nephew uses him from time to time, and John uses them too.
Oh,
so.
yeah.
My nephews are now enjoying the fun of action figures, but yeah, Commander Bly is still at my parents' house.
Oh,
I love him.
Yeah.
But he lost his pistols a long time ago.
I'm sure. I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like you said, the Corps is known for their distinctive. The Wikipedia said marigold, but yeah, it's
yellow. It marigold? Okay,
yellow, oranges markings, pauldrons, which are like the big shoulder plates.
Oh yeah,
that they have, and then the kamas. I think I'm saying that right. Kamas, kamas.
Yeah, sounds right.
Is the belt skirt, right?
Looks so cool.
Yeah.
Which, like, I'm so wondering, what's the functionality other than looking completely cool? You know what I mean? Like, did they say it's like, oh, they're synth woven and
no, it literally just said it was like, yeah.
Okay, cool. I love it. Yeah. Sometimes you don't need to be functional. You just need to look cool.
Just look, be distinctive. That's
exactly.
All it was. So their first major event was the mission to Iskander, which is an outer rim muddy planet. Quinlan Voss discovered intelligence of a new separatist droid that they were working on. So,
okay.
General Sakura and a company of the 327th were deployed to investigate. Shortly after engaging in battle, Commander Bly was injured by the battle droids there. So, due to that, he was not able to command anymore during that battle.
Mm-hmm.
I wish they gave us the name, but an unnamed clone took over
Oh, okay.
the ground troops.
Yep.
They mentioned this other, I think his name is Flash, but he's just a clone trooper, but he's not the leader of it, but they mention him.
Like a notable name.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, although morale is low, because Commander Bly was hurt
Yep.
and incapacitated, General Sakura ordered them to stand their ground and to proceed on the invasion of the Separatist base without her, because she was going to go around and sneak in from the back.
Oh, okay. So dividing her up.
Lost and confused, and without a leader, the troops attempt to contact Sakura. Sakura, who's already in the base and trying to be hidden, I guess did not turn her comms off, and it went off.
Dude, the C-3PO.
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about?
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. And so she was captured by Asajj Ventress.
Dang. I did not know this. What's this about? Is this a comic?
I think
You know
this one is a comic, yeah.
Oh, okay. I want to read this comic bad.
And
That sounds sick.
And so the troops finally get there to find her captured and being interrogated by Asajj.
Yeah.
Turns out Asajj leaked the information. There was no secret battle droid that they were making, but it was to capture General Sakura.
Honeypot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Now, long story short, they didn't know what to do, but they ended up causing a distraction by turning on the remaining droids that were in the base still.
Mm-hmm.
Commotion occurred, and they were able to extract Sakura and flood the planet. Mission failure, because they didn't get anything, and they almost lost their general.
Yeah.
So, not a good look for.
Well, at least they, got her. I mean,
Well, yeah,
it
they
would've
say
been bad.
they made sure she was there, but still not a good
That's
look.
wild that, bad intel caused all that, yeah.
Yeah,
Asajj is so cool.
she is.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
and
and then
I
she
really
was
don't feel like she's
she was just tossed aside by Dooku.
I
You know,
know. Oh.
literally like a piece of trash, but she is so cool.
Yeah. She is such a cool sub arc.
Yeah.
The whole Night Sisters and everything.
Oh, yeah.
That was so much fun. But yeah, that was so much fun, the whole Night Sisters and everything.
Oh,
But,
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay, sorry. One more thing. That was the coolest battle of all time, where the Night Sisters with Asajj come in.
Oh, yeah, that
and
was...
they just drug straight up Count Dooku. He's in his pajamas. They're invisible.
Yep.
He's drug blind and still taking on 3 full Night Sisters. Oh,
and
Dooku's the best.
He's just OP. I love. Yeah, Dooku's awesome.
I do love the fact that was the only skin I ever considered actually buying with my own real hard-earned money with Battlefront 2, the newer version, not the older version, because they had a Count Dooku skin with his pajamas in that episode.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I thought that was funny. I was like, oh, he has the best skin ever.
Yeah.
But
So next is the Battle of Quell. Quel. Quell.
okay.
Full-on space battle.
Nice. Okay.
The 327th aboard 3 Star Destroyers, including General Sakura's flagship called Liberty.
Oh, dude, I didn't know she had a flagship. So
Hell yeah.
Is that common for generals to kind of have their own?
Yeah. So,
Okay, nice.
Yeah. So
It's
like Plo Koon
Anakin's
was the
like
negotiator.
sovereign or something. I can't
Yeah.
remember.
Yeah. I might have that on here.
No big deal. No big deal. But yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of them did have their own flag.
I like the names though. They're cool.
Yeah. So they're in there. During the battle, the 327th was overwhelmed by the droids there, and they called upon General Skywalker for backup.
When you see droids there, you mean piloting droids?
Piloting
Like,
droids.
okay,
So
nice.
when they came, they weren't expecting the battle. They kind of just showed up and ended up.
It broke out,
Yeah.
yeah.
But by the time the Skywalker arrived, the Resolute, that's what it says here.
Resolute.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Only the Liberty remained. They had taken out 2 of the ships. So the 327th was hurting pretty bad.
Wow.
Aayla Secura again ordered her troops not to waver and to continue the fight.
You know what?
She
There's
just-
something about her.
she does not quit. She does
Grit.
not
There's
quit.
something, I think the
Yeah.
term you're looking for is grit.
Grit. Yeah.
Determined. Perseverance.
After almost completely losing, they were eventually saved by Skywalker and the 501st. But in the escape, The enemy had like docked on the ship as they were trying to hyperdrive, and Anakin was getting back into the Resolute, and he got severely injured because he almost got split in half because the ship hyperdrive as he was trying to get in.
Jeez.
Not good. Not a good look. Yeah.
Yeah. What's the physics behind that? Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but he was injured, but
survived. Oh yeah.
Yeah, right.
I mean, we know
yeah,
Anakin survived.
yeah.
And then the last big one is the Battle of Fallujah, the fourth battle, really, of Fallujah. In the final days of the Clone Wars, the 327th was sent to Fallujah to capture Separatist Council member Shu Mai.
Love it.
They were armed with several vehicles and advancing well through the forest. I mean, it was going to be a total win for the Republic. And then Order 66 happened, directing them to execute their Jedi leader, and Sakura was fatally shot in the back multiple times by Commander Bly and the other troops.
Oh, first off, yeah, that sucks. I still love Bly, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Still love Ayla, don't get me wrong. But, dude, I will say she had, like, the craziest... I remember as a kid being like, dude, what? Like, that's when it turned for me in the movies, where I was like, that's insane. Because they didn't just, like, fire her once. Like, they were... Because there's that whole scene where they, like, pan the camera up and the gunshots are still going. It's like, golly.
Yeah, it was
maybe because they
beating
knew
a
she had
dead
grit.
horse. Yeah, maybe.
They
Yeah, probably.
They're like,
she wasn't
dude,
going to quit until we knew she was dead. Yeah.
That's lore-wise, let's say that, because that's like full circle, because, yeah, that just seemed a little overpowering, but...
Yeah.
So, Mark, do you have any other ones on that one?
That's it for that. I've got one more after you, and then...
Perfect. And this one will be actually a relatively quick one. This was going to be an honorable mention, but there's actually not that much in Wikipedia about this.
Mm-hmm.
It's the 9th Engineering Battalion. And literally, it just said, 9th Engineering Battalion. It exists.
Yeah.
Nothing else. There's no notable clone troopers. There's no notable battles. And the lore that I'm trying to develop in the back of my head is this whole war machine has to... There's so much to it, right? There's the politicking aspects. There's the financial aspects. Then there's the technological aspects. I mean, there's three huge things. I mean, just the logistics behind all three of those combined together is insane.
Mm-hmm.
But... the technological side of it, this is where I think the 9th shines, is where I, no joke, in my head, I believe that they're the ones doing all the R&D. The only time you really see an engineer is actually in Battlefront. Mm-hmm. It's a class you can do, and they fix up the... So Joe would always do it with, what do you call it? With... he would go out and you'd shoot the back of the droid. You know what I'm talking about, the tank?
The small
and then
wheel.
Heal it.
Yeah,
and then you go back. Yeah,
the technician. You get the technician.
Yeah. But yeah, the whole point is, sorry, I was
they
thinking
got a
back
shotgun.
they had a shotgun, which was sick. But that's why I kind of feel like the engineering were like, yeah, they're not going out in battle, but they're doing the R&D work of, making sure that the technology is up to date. They're doing the things to counteract the droids, everything like that. And I just really kind of enjoyed, and the fact that there's an engineering squad. I mean, as an engineer, that's kind of, kind of cool to think that they're helping out in their own way. And a little upsetting that there's not like any notable battles or anything like that. But I really believe that that's like in the back of my head. I feel like that's like what they're doing, and they're kind of doing the backbone of it. They're the backbone of everything, kind of, being the skeletal structure that is extending the hand, that is doing these battle skirmishes, everything like that. So
absolutely.
Yeah, sorry, I really don't have that much on that one.
No, it's all good.
That one was like the one where I saw it and I was like, oh my gosh, like what? And it really made me kind of stop and think like, okay, what would they have done in that battle? Like, because are they taking all this data and like analyzing it and being like, okay, the droids they're acting like this way, they're doing this. Remember the whole sub arc in Clone War, or no, the Bad Batch, where they realize Echo's alive based on they keep losing. Or no, that was Clone Wars. That was the end of Clone Wars, but that spawned the Bad Batch.
Yeah.
But the whole point is that there's a whole sub-arc. Sorry, just a quick tangent. There's a whole sub-arc where literally they're analyzing the war effort, and they're like, why are these droids doing smarter tactics? Like, what's causing this? Like, we know the growth of their technology, and this seems a little too much. And also, not only is it like too much, it's got this weird human clone feel to it. Something's wrong, and I feel like they were huge on that one. They were like the boys in the Ninth Squadron, like brought up the intel and was like, "Hey, something's not matching, right? They should have technology that is on par with this ramp because we know how their R&D is developing with our own, whatever, where they're getting the information from." So So, they never showed on screen, but I imagine there's just a bunch of
yeah.
keyboard people like, clicking around. So.
Yeah. Which is, it's funny because, so you sent me the ones you were going to do, and so I just did a quick search on them just so I knew what I was getting
going
into.
on?
That one is actually, that name is like a real, like, U.S. Army battalion.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
I wonder if it was just a complete
It must have
misnomer.
been. Yeah.
And if it is, that's kind of funny. But hey, they're existing in my brain.
Yeah.
Because also these clones need engineers. They can't
Oh,
just be the
right.
Kevin Owens are only cloning them. They're not providing them with,
Yeah.
That's a good point. Are they providing them with the weapons? I mean, they show them with the. I don't know.
Yeah, that's too much.
Yeah,
Maybe part 2.
Let's ask Plagueis.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
He's the one who said. Or sorry, Cypher
Cypher
allegedly.
yeah.
Cypher allegedly. But yeah. No, that's all I got. Sorry.
Okay. So my last one, I'll do it rather quickly here, but they don't have special names. But Depa Balaba,
Love it already.
She's a general. She's on the council. She was actually Mace Windu's apprentice. She's the Indian Jedi Master.
Yeah. Okay.
So she commanded 2 battalions during the Clone Wars. First one, very short-lived. They saw one battle on the mid-rim planet Harun Kal.
Mm-hmm.
Absolute loss for the Republic, resulting in 90% casualty rate for the battalion.
Jeez.
At the hands of General Grievous. It actually put Balaba into a coma, and only 4 troopers survived from the battalion.
Did she face Grievous?
She faced Grievous and
Wow.
failed.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Coma. Okay, I when you say Grievous, I thought like the forces. I was like, oh my gosh, but basically, dude, Grievous doesn't get enough. Doesn't get enough. You know what I mean? Like she's a Jedi Master, and he's going toe to toe with her.
Oh
like,
yeah,
that's crazy.
So, and those 4 troopers were Commander Gray, Captain Styles, Sergeant Soot, and Corporal Big Mouth.
Love it already. Yeah.
So when she awakes from her coma, she's doing some healing. She takes on a Padawan learner named Caleb Doom.
Nice.
Yes. And he is this young Padawan. He wants to fight in the war, so she agrees to lead a 2nd battalion.
Oh, but his fervor of like,
Yeah.
wow, that's cool.
Yeah. So he's leading along with them. Those 4 surviving clone troopers were the first to sign up for the battalion to serve under.
Oh, that's
General.
cool. So they,
Yeah.
so it's almost like a call sheet. Like
Yep.
they're like, hey, we need new people, and then they just made a new one for her. Oh,
Yep.
I like that.
And so they were right up with her. The rest of them were just out of Camino. And very young, very inexperienced. And
Which is young is so funny. The
Yeah.
oldest person there is 4 years old.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean?
In fact, they either wore just plain white or all green armor.
Okay.
That's just what they did. Their campaigns, so they fought on the planet Cardoa, which is on the outer rim.
Mm-hmm.
It was basically a reconnaissance mission to confirm that separatists had presence on this planet. One squad took heavy fire but stood their ground, so the leader of that squad earned the name Stance.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
I do love the call signs. The call signs are fun.
Yeah. They were also on Maigito,
Nice.
where Kaide Mundi died, not at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
But they were sent there to clear out battle droids who had just begun occupying the planet. Baliaba and Doom and the troops became surrounded by battle droids, but they ended up being saved by the Skull Squadron, not part of the battalion. We don't know what battalion they were a part of, but it was another clone. But the Skull Squadron, that's pretty
That's
cool.
sick. Yeah, I like that.
Despite being injured, the General Depa and Doom were able to force Grievous and the droids to retreat from Maigito for a time.
Dude, how about comeback stories?
Yeah.
That's got to feel pretty good.
And then the final battle that they saw in their final mission, the battalion was sent to Collar. The battalion had grown over the years, and she had made friends. She became... Clone troopers were fighting hand over fist to serve under
Oh, wow.
Depa Baliaba, especially ones that she had known from when she started.
Yeah.
That weren't in the first battalion, but so it became...
Like working adjacent.
Yeah.
With, right?
So she knew, like, very closely most of the clones in her battalion now at this point.
Yep.
Very close. She's known them since the start of the Clone War.
Wow.
They fought against General Cleave and the Separatists here, and were able to make them abandon the planet. Success did not last long, though, because they got reinforcements shortly after, and they were trying to retake the planet. They were on the verge of victory.
Jeez.
The clones were on the verge of
Tale as old
victory.
as time.
And when Order 66 was executed again, the troops turned on Baliaba and Doom. She sacrificed herself so her Padawan can leave. And that's actually the start of Bad Batch.
Mm-hmm.
So
I don't remember what the clone troopers looked like though. Were they plain white or were they all green during that scene?
I don't know if we saw them. We saw Doom hit some
blocking?
blasters and then escape. I don't know if we saw the clone troopers in that first scene.
So I don't remember either. Yeah.
So the Bad Batch, obviously an honorable mention, but there's a whole TV show, so there was no way we could just put them in here.
Yeah, they're probably my favorite.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite out of Bad Batch? I'm actually curious.
Clone Force 99.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
If you had to choose one.
If I had to choose.
Gun to your head.
Tech.
Yeah. That's my number one too.
I mean, he's nerdy. And
I love him. Yeah, he's the engineer. He's the engineer.
Yeah.
Hunter's cool just because I love Tech as a character. The only thing I absolutely, and the fact that they thought about incorporating spectacles into the, you know what I mean?
Oh,
He's
yeah.
like the most clone spectacles you can get. But the other one that got me was the fact that I love Hunter's knife that he has on his wrist. You know, that's what I like. When I look at it, I go, Hunter's his armor looks the coolest because it's red and black or gray or what do you want to call that.
He's got the face tat.
Got the face tat and he's got that knife. Like, it's so clean. But Tech's my favorite.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
From like personality standpoint and everything like that. But no, dude, that's awesome. It's kind of fun to think about all these because then you start thinking like, where did this information come from somewhere?
Uh-huh.
So it kind of opened me up to start being like, ooh, I want to get back into Star Wars comics and like this Saj versus Aayla Secura, Bly in a freaking comic. That's like, that's game time. Right. I'm definitely want to read that. So
and talk about room to grow. I mean, like
so much.
Yeah,
I mean,
comics could be coming out on regiments and legions for many years to come.
That whole it's literally called Clone Adventures.
Yeah.
I mean, that's literally a whole section. That was volume 6 that we saw Hope Squadron. So I wonder what's going on with volumes 1, 2, whatever.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, and I think the other thing too, just to kind of wrap it all up, is it's just so interesting to see the uniqueness kind of coming out, where it does think a lot of them end with, hey, they were doing really well, then Executor 66 happened. But it's the uniqueness of like, they have a very specific role doing these specific things, and by the way, the reflection of the commander and relative to the troops and the call signs, it's just like, it's a way to show that this engine that is historically very abstracted, there's some personality there.
Yeah.
I really like that. So.
Yeah.
Kind of like one of the first episodes was Yoda telling the clone troopers to take their helmets off. They're like, why? We all look the same. He's like, no, like the Force flows through you differently. Like you are all unique to me. I don't see you as a thing. And that really is a good way that Dave Filoni, I think, really rounded out, showing like there's humans behind this. You know, there's
They're
humanity
not
there.
expendable.
Yeah. And I think us talking about this, so Connor, thank you so much for bringing it up. But I think
absolutely.
us talking about it is going, wow, we're really putting an individuality to this, and I really enjoyed it. So, no, that was an absolutely great session. I think that was fantastic.
Yep, I agree.
I don't really have any other notes, do you?
So with that, Tony, I'm good. So as always, thank you for listening. Please reach out to us with questions, mix up what-if ideas. Let us know what your favorite clone squadron or troop is.
Yeah.
And we're always looking for feedback.
Yeah, absolutely. No. We totally appreciate it. If you're looking where to place that feedback, please follow us and message us on the Live Laugh Lore Pod with Instagram or X. And then also you can just email us at the Live Laugh Lore Pod at gmail.com. That's Live Laugh Lore Pod, POD, at gmail.com.
Thanks, guys.